we're back again. This is the precursor, if you will, the backstage pass to the 28th annual Boscov's Berks Jazz Fest. My name is Jo Painter, and on behalf of the Berks Arts Council, we thank them here on the People Chronicles. We host this series, and I have been looking forward to this backstage pass, guys. These are the brothers, the Cullen Brothers, Matt and Dave. And I don't know that everybody really knows the backstory, but I heard a little bit downstairs in the lobby. We're recording live at the Doubletree right now. And we were sitting in the lobby, and I commented, Matt, about the books. And I said, I love this lobby because I love the books. And you told me about a room in your house growing up.
We had this beautiful library in the back of the house with a cathedral ceiling and a fireplace and just books all along the walls and a wonderful little stereo system that my dad had put together, and records for us to listen to, and instruments for us to play on and get to make music.
Now think about that. That was in their home, and so that music seed was planted with you guys at a very young age.
It was. It was a nice big room, and the stereo sounded just amazing. So it was great. We could just put on a vinyl and listen to it, you know, and it would just fill the whole room.
So when you put it on vinyl, what were you listening to?
Oh, well, we were listening to all the records that, you know, my folks had.
But what were
And they had some classical, they had some old folk music. I did find an old Stan Kenton record.
Oh, yeah?
Yep, big band jazz. And then I would get old enough to go buy a few or bring my brother's records down.
Yes.
Bring the Jimi Hendrix record down.
That's what I was
and, you know, bring the Allman Brothers down. And play it on the big, nice stereo. That was, instead of my brother's little stereo up on the third floor.
Yeah,
So
the heck with that one. Yeah. So there are 10 Cullen children. Does everybody play music?
Everyone was musical growing up. We used to sing, and one of our favorite things as I was growing up was we would go Christmas caroling, and everybody would sing or bring an instrument. Cold outside, but I know flute, Virginia would play her flute, and we would sing. And so everybody was very musical growing up.
Everybody was musical, and kind of had their moment, you know, taking lessons on piano or guitar or something. But I guess I kind of really latched onto it.
Yeah,
you know.
And Brother John.
The most? More than anybody?
I would say so, yeah.
Oh, yeah. And Brother John was great with me because he played in a band, and he had a bass, and he would let me play with the bass.
And he was the first guy because he would bring over guys.
So he was
and
the oldest?
we were the youngest,
Yeah. So I would get to go down to rehearsals and get to see the guys playing and set up their equipment.
He would be 15 or 16 and bring guys over and I'd be about 11 sitting on the steps.
Oh, so that was really cool.
And Matthew would be about 4 or 5 years old on the steps.
Oh, yeah. And I remember getting my first drumstick. You know, but it was really, really great house to live in.
And Matt had a room down in the basement, which was an old kind of hardware shop. It was like an old
workbench, workroom.
But he put a drum set in there.
Wait, what do you mean you had a room?
Matthew
you had your own room?
I got sent to the basement, but it was a great room to practice in. They say, you know, woodshed, but this was like a workshop. And
he put up rugs on it
for
soundproofing.
A little sound system in there. And I got to play at all these great records.
But you could play down there and not really bother anybody.
And it was underground to the rest of the neighbors because it was in the foundation wall area. And it sounded great to me.
What a gift your parents gave you. Just to give you that space to do.
I was up on the 3rd floor.
So your room was on the 3rd floor.
Right. So
the guitar
I played up on the
included.
3rd floor. Matthew played in the basement.
You know, I wanted to get my granddaughter a drum set just for like revenge to my son, but I didn't do that just because people go, oh no, not the drums. But they didn't say that to you. They said, yeah, get the drums and there you go. How about it?
It took a while. I started with drum lessons. First I played clarinet and experiment with other instruments, but I really wanted to play the drums. So they got me some drum lessons. And I worked through my rudiments and my sticks, and I got a snare drum, and then I slowly got into the drum set. And I played in the marching band, and the concert band, and the pep band, and the jazz band.
Wow.
So it was always something I was really passionate about and enjoyed all through school. And David as well, he played all through school.
Did you play in the band?
When I was coming up. I mean, I played guitar. I played a little French horn. I played a little flute, but
I remember a big bass.
Oh, I did play. I did. I went to Thomas Ford School and I played the upright bass for a couple years. The big story. I walked it back and forth from school.
Did you?
Yeah.
Going out with my bass.
But then I gave it up. I gave it up because after a couple years, I wanted to play guitar. Yeah. Mr. Borelli, Carl Borelli. I don't know if you know that name.
I know the name, but I don't know him.
He was my bass teacher.
Wow.
And I said, I'm going to quit the bass because I would just want to play guitar. So.
Was he disappointed?
He was.
Yeah.
But he got over it. It was okay.
And beside you two, are there any others who are still playing music, performing, should I say?
From the brothers and sisters?
Yeah.
My sister Priscilla would sing down at some churches down in Florida, where she lives, but not too much. Yeah.
And John played in the guitar masses.
Oh yeah, and John played guitar masses.
And still plays a little bit.
Still plays some good bass, yeah.
And did anybody ever think that out of this whole crew, I mean, there's David bringing home the Grammy. How's that? Great. I mean, that's pretty cool.
So, David went to music school and became the professional and worked his way to this level. And I'm just honored to get to play with him and do this show and get the brothers together to play. And I went into teaching and became a teacher and kept music as my passion. And it really shows how music can be in your life in so many different ways.
You know, both of you teach.
Right.
And it's interesting if you listen to the different backstage passes in this beautiful patchwork quilt that we call Jazz Fest and the stories behind the stage. There is a resonating common thread, and it's education and teaching. And there's so many people that come in here that are associated with Jazz Fest that they teach. That's important. Why do you think that is?
Well, part of it is a skill that you acquire by doing it, so you can teach it. Part of it's because you financially you kind of need to do something as well. There's not a whole lot of people that can just play. I mean, even John Schofield teaches, at NYU. So it's a combination of teaching and playing. It allows you to be more selective on the gigs you take, and then because you're teaching,
right.
And then you don't have to teach us all the time because you're playing gigs. They help each other. They really do.
It's interesting that you bring that up because lots and lots of kids are involved in jazz band, involved in different bands at school. They get that instrument, and there's got to be dreams. I mean, just listening to the enthusiasm and passion that you have, there's got to be this dream that this is what I'm going to do for a living. I'm going to be a musician. But you're pointing out it's important to have more than that. So I guess there's just a select few that's all they're ever going to do, right?
Right. I as far as performing, just performing.
Exactly.
Right.
So
or some people just choose. But I know some great performers who have day jobs and are amazing and some of the best players I ever heard. So they can't. There's from all walks of life. You never know who's going to walk up and be amazing. Yeah.
But you are amazing. But you're saying teach. So do you parlay that to your students when you're teaching music? The importance of being a little bit more broad-based and keeping doors open, and don't think this is all you're going to do. Maybe what other fields of occupation or careers can there be in the music industry, which is what you guys are both doing.
Well, I teach technology and engineering education.
Oh, you don't teach music?
And I teach at a high school. So I talk about design, engineering, and robotics as my area that I'm really focusing on now with my students. But I do give music lessons as well, and I do give private lessons. And I have one drum student now. And what I'm trying to instill in him, and he's very young, he's 7 years old, but his father was a drummer, his grandfather was a drummer, and his dad really wanted him to do this. And he asked at the barbershop where I get my hair cut if I would consider giving his son drum lessons. And I did this for another friend of mine and taught drums. And I go to their house, which makes them more comfortable. And I create this learning environment where they can explore and experiment and just enjoy it so much and build the skills that they need. So when they start in the elementary concert band and move forward, they're going to be passionate about it, they're going to have a skill set, and they're going to enjoy it. But I'm not trying to make it like they're a performance major or anything like that. And I do explain to them the importance of letting it be part of you and enjoy all the fruits of it in the band when you're growing up, in the bands that we play with, and the friendships that we make, and the magic that we make on stage, and the great feelings that I get doing it, but also sharing with so many people. Whether they're going to be performing on a huge stage, or they're going to be playing for their family or their church or their community.
It is a beautiful way to put it. It is a gift to, I mean, as an audience member, and that's how I consume this music, and it is a gift you offer.
But I have to say one more thing. Like, okay, Matthew also has other skills that are phenomenal. He can run a sound system. He can design a light show. He can do the business end. These are other things that in the music business that happen. These are kind of offshoots that happen because you're involved in the music business or music performing. But Matthew can do it all, I'm telling you.
And that's how I got involved with the Berks Arts Council and the Jazz Fest, from the production end. And last year was our first concert together as Cullen Company, where I got to step on the main stage and do a featured concert series, and we did The Jazz is Dead, and you got to host us.
Oh my gosh.
And it was just phenomenal.
Blew everybody away. It was such the best concert.
We had so much fun.
Part of the reason is because we don't get to do it too often, so we're kind of taking a chance. We're just kind of throwing this stuff. And this band, we never played with this band before.
Well, let's talk about this a bit.
So
Cullen Company is what the big
Cullen Company, whatever is
You're
whatever.
pointing to Matt. He's Cullen, huh?
Matthew, it's whatever Matthew decides to kind of put in the kettle and stir around. That's what it is.
So last year you put the Grateful Dead in the kettle, which was so cool.
And we brought Michael, B, and Jamie, and Anders, and we just had a blast.
And so now you're expanding, because you're going to be at a bigger venue. You'll be at the Inn at Reading, and there's a whole blues theme to the Boscov.
And we were looking for some connections between our players. So Cliff Starkey has played with Craig Thatcher. Matthews played with Peter Fluck. Okay, Cliff has played with Chico. I've played with Chico Huff. So we were trying to figure out a way how we could all bring this together, but also keep it as a something that people would recognize. Oh, I know David Cullen. Oh, I know Craig Thatcher. Oh, I know Matthew. Something, name recognition. Oh, I know Cliff Starkey. Keep the name recognition together so we can draw a crowd.
You know, Cliff has been in here for a backstage pass, and so has Craig Thatcher, but not Chico Huff. And you said, do you know Chico Huff? And I was kind of embarrassing. No. And you called him what?
The best bass player that you never heard of.
And now I'm curious, right? You got to go to.
He's one of Gerald Veasley's favorite bass players.
Really?
And he'll be an instructor at the bass boot camp this year, and he'll be featured at one of the concerts.
And he's one of the nicest guys, musical, can play anything, anywhere, anytime.
You put together quite a company for
I'm very excited
show.
about it. I talked to John after last year's show, and he said, you can definitely come back. We'll be glad to have you, and we'll talk more about ideas of what kind of show we're going to do. And that's when he offered the venue of the Inn at Reading with the blues theme. And it's 88.1 FM, one of our NPR stations, is presenting the blues at the end.
So I wouldn't say we're doing all straight blues.
No.
We're doing...
Well, I got the set list from David. It's very exciting. We like to plan ahead.
Well,
you're Matt, he's company, but you made the set list.
we talked.
Just we talked. Okay.
Oh, well, Craig is going to come out and do his set.
Okay.
Doing his Allman Brothers and his Eric Clapton kind of bluesy stuff.
Yeah.
And Craig will just do a great job with that, because that's in his comfort zone. That's where he likes to be.
Yep.
So he's going to do his thing, and I'll probably come on and play a tune with him. Then I'm going to come play a set where I like to do some Derek Trucks.
Oh,
I like to do some of my own tunes, about 4 of my own tunes written right here in Reading, Pennsylvania. I'm going to do, what else? A Steely Dan bluesy tune that Cliff knows. So we're going to I'm going to do a Harry Connick blues tune from New Orleans.
The versatility is what I'm picking up here amongst yourselves.
So we're gonna have a good time doing that, and it's just gonna be a great night.
And while we're doing that, featuring Craig and then featuring David, we're going to be featuring the rhythm section and everybody with Jeff and with Chico and
Cliff's gonna
Cliff. We're just going to tear it apart,
something else.
but no drum solos.
Oh, okay.
I always say this, and then
It
we
sounds
get
like
on
you put your
stage.
foot down there.
I would really prefer to feature everybody else, but it is the one thing that makes me a little nervous when I get
Don't tell
upstairs
them.
with these guys, and then they turn around and it's like.
It's
So
whatever he
it's
wants to do. He's the
coming.
boss. Matthew is the boss when we get together. He runs the show.
I'm detecting an energy here. Is it
He does.
different, for the two of you to be on stage performing together? I mean, you've both worked with a variety of musicians, and I know there's a great passion in any setting, but is it somehow different, more special when you're on stage with your brother?
I think it depends who we're with. Sometimes it can be more special. Sometimes it's less special. But but last year with those guys from Philly, the Dead guys, it was great. This is going to be even more special because it's Cliff and Chico.
Right.
Yeah, I never got to play with Peter yet, but I'm sure. But if Matthew's calling him in, he's going to bring it. You have to bring this vibe. You have to bring something to the stage that is like contributing to the lift. I don't know how else to call it. Like we had the lift last year.
Oh, big time. Let me tell you, they bring it, and it is on Thursday, April 12th, 7:30, the Inn at Reading. It's Cullen Company, and if you see nothing else, I highly recommend you see this show. We have a lightning round of questions, but I'm hoping you'll stick around, and we'll do that in our next episode of a second Backstage Pass here on the People Chronicles for the Boscov Berks Jazz Fest. We'll be back.